You're about to lay eyes on one of the most sought-after muscle cars of its era, the Plymouth GTX. But this isn't your average hot rod. Oh no, this beast is something special. A true gentleman's muscle car, if you will. Picture it. The year is 1967, and the streets are alive with the rumble of high-performance engines. Suddenly, a sleek, silver GTX pulls up next to you at the stoplight. The driver, a distinguished-looking gentleman in a tailored suit, glances over, and the corner of his mouth curls up in a confident smirk. You know at that moment, this is no ordinary muscle car. This is a machine that commands respect, a true wolf in sheep's clothing. But just how powerful is the GTX hiding under that unassuming exterior? Well, my friends, you're about to find out. Hold on tight, because we're about to take an exhilarating ride into the world of the Plymouth GTX, the gentleman's hot rod. When you think of American muscle cars from the 1960s, certain images probably spring to mind. Mustangs prowling the streets, Camaros tearing up the drag strip, Chargers laying rubber at the traffic lights. But nestled between those household names was a machine that flew a little more under the radar, the Plymouth GTX. Now at first glance, the GTX might not look all that different from its Plymouth stablemate, the Roadrunner. It's got a similar boxy, squared-off body style and an unassuming, almost understated presence on the road. But trust me, looks can be deceiving when it comes to this car. Lift the hood and you'll discover a fire-breathing 426 cubic inch Hemi 8 engine lurking beneath that deceptively unassuming exterior. This wasn't your average grocery getter muscle car. This was a machine built to dominate. With a staggering 425 horsepower on tap, the GTX could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds, putting many exotic sports cars of the era to shame. But the GTX wasn't just about brute force. No, Plymouth had engineered this car to be a true wolf in sheep's clothing. A muscle car with manners, if you will. While it could more than hold its own at the drag strip, the GTX also featured a refined suspension setup and precise handling that made it a comfortable and capable cruiser on the open road. This was a machine that could go from genteel grand tour to hellfire hot rod at the drop of a hat. Then there was the styling, understated elegance with just a hint of menace, as if daring onlookers to underestimate its capabilities. The clean, chiseled lines, the chrome trim accents, the muscular haunches, it all came together to create a car that was equal parts refined and rowdy. This wasn't some flashy, in-your-face muscle car. The GTX was the automotive equivalent of a perfectly tailored suit, concealing immense power and performance beneath its composed exterior. So who was the target market for this unique breed of muscle car? Well, in a word, gentlemen. The Plymouth GTX was designed to appeal to a more discerning, sophisticated buyer, someone who wanted performance without sacrificing comfort or refinement. It was the muscle car for the executive who needed to get to the country club in a hurry, or the businessman who wanted to blow the doors off his boring old sedan on the way to the office. In a world of muscle cars that shouted their intentions from the rooftops, the GTX was a quiet achiever. A true dark horse that could surprise and delight in equal measure, leaving its more boisterous brethren in the dust. What made the GTX so special was its ability to defy expectations. On the surface, it had all the hallmarks of a traditional muscle car, a brutish big-block V8 engine, a brawny, aggressive stance, and performance that could leave lesser vehicles in the rearview mirror. Yet beneath that unassuming exterior lay a level of refinement and sophistication that set the GTX apart from its more boisterous counterparts. The suspension was taut and well-tuned, giving the car precise, agile handling that belied its size and power. The interior was trimmed in high-quality materials, with an emphasis on comfort and driver ergonomics. This was a muscle car you could happily drive every day, not just unleash on the weekends. In a sense, the GTX was the automotive embodiment of a perfectly tailored suit, an unassuming facade masking incredible capability and performance. The GTX's clean, chiseled lines and muscular haunches gave it a presence that was both refined and rowdy, setting it apart from the more flamboyant muscle cars of the era. This wasn't some flashy, in-your-face muscle car. The GTX was the automotive equivalent of a distinguished gentleman, comfortable in his own skin and confident in his abilities. In essence, the GTX was all about finding the perfect balance between brute force and finesse. A muscle car that could hold its own against the best of them while still maintaining an air of sophistication and class. This was the muscle car for the discerning enthusiast, the one who valued performance without sacrificing comfort or refinement. A true gentleman's hot rod that could hold its own against the flashiest, most outrageous muscle cars of the era. When you think about the Plymouth GTX, the first thing that comes to mind probably isn't sleeper. After all, this was a big, brawny muscle car with a fire-breathing Hemi V8 under the hood. Hardly the stuff of stealth and subtlety. But that's precisely what made the GTX such a captivating and unique proposition. You see, the GTX had an almost uncanny ability to fly under the radar. With its clean, understated styling and lack of flashy embellishments, it didn't scream muscle car like some of its more boisterous competitors. In fact, if you weren't a true gearhead, you might even mistake it for a run-of-the-mill Plymouth sedan at first glance, an unassuming facade that only added to the GTX's captivating allure. But then you'd hear that Hemi engine roar to life, and any illusions of subtlety would be shattered in an instant. The GTX's true nature revealed in a thunderous burst of speed and power. With a staggering 425 horsepower on tap, this was a machine that could out-accelerate many exotic sports cars of the era. It was the automotive equivalent of a wolf in sheep's clothing, an unassuming exterior concealing the heart of a raging beast, ready to pounce at a moment's notice. And that's really what made the GTX so captivating and enduring. Its ability to surprise and delight in equal measure, defying expectations at every turn. It was the muscle car for the true enthusiast, the one who appreciated not just raw power, but sophisticated engineering and clever design. The GTX wasn't about flashy show, it was about substance, about delivering an unforgettable driving experience that left a lasting impression on all who experienced its capabilities. It's no wonder, then, that the GTX has gone on to become a true cult classic among muscle car aficionados, its legend only growing stronger with the passage of time. These days, pristine examples of the GTX fetch astronomical prices at auction, as collectors scramble to add this unsung hero to their garages, recognizing the inherent value and lasting appeal of this unique muscle car. And you know what? That's exactly as it should be. The GTX deserves its place among the muscle car elite, a true sleeper sensation that has only grown more captivating with age. Because the Plymouth GTX wasn't just a muscle car, it was a masterpiece of engineering, a testament to the power of understatement, and a shining example of how sometimes the most captivating machines are the ones that don't need to shout their intentions from the rooftops. What do you think about this car? Do you think it deserves its place among the muscle car elites? Let's have your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for sticking till the end. Subscribe to Muscle Car Enthusiasts for more legends from the golden age of American horsepower.